The next section of your homework asks you to find the prime factorization of certain numbers. I'm going to do some examples with you from the homework. You need to do the odds for the homework, so we will work on the evens. So let's go ahead and start on number 10. Number 10 asks you to find the prime factorization of 49. There are two different methods that we can use to find the prime factorization. We can do a factor tree or a ladder, and I'm going to do both for you. So I'm going to write 49. The factor tree is something many of you have probably seen. We need to find two numbers that we can multiply and get 49. Most of you know that our numbers are 7 times 7. Now when I get to a prime number, I want to make sure and circle it because I cannot factor that number any further. Therefore, I'm going to circle the 7 and the other 7, which means I'm done. Now the way that I write my prime factorization is I will write 7 times 7, or even better, I can write this using exponential notation, 7 to the power of 2. Now the ladder method will give us the same answer, it's just done a little differently. So we start out with 49 and we draw a little corner here, and the number that I'm going to write to the left has to be prime. So here I know that I can multiply 7 times 7, and I'm done. We're done when this number on the bottom is prime. I'll show you some more examples where we have to do a little more work. Once again, we have 7 times 7, and when we write that using exponential notation, it is 7 to the power of 2. Okay, let's look at another example, maybe one that's a little bit longer. So number 12, we have 95. Okay, so I'm going to write 95 here, and I'm going to do it both ways. You only have to pick one way for your homework. Okay, now if you remember when we talked about divisibility, I know that this number is divisible by 5 because it ends in 5. So I know that I can multiply 5 times 19, and I get 45. Okay, and actually this ends up being short as well because 5 is prime and 19 is prime. So I'm done. If I were to use the ladder method, I would divide this by 5 and I get 19 because 5 times 19 is 95. So again, I'm going to write this as 5 times 19, and I can't write it in exponential notation because I see each number only once. So again, I'd write this as 5 times 19. It's always important to remember that we write our numbers from least to greatest. Okay? Let me try another example. Okay, number 18. So number 18, they ask us to find the prime factorization of 60. And once again, I'll do both methods. So there's that. And let me change the color here. All right. So if I'm going to use the factor tree, I will think of two numbers that I can multiply together to get 60. So I'm going to start with 6 times 10. Okay? Now, if you notice, 6 is a composite number because it has more than two factors. 6 has a factor of 1, 2, 3, and 6. So 6 actually has 4 factors. So it's composite, which means I'm not going to circle it. I'm going to go on. 6 is made up of 2 times 3. Now, 2 is prime, so I'm going to circle that. And 3 is also prime, so I'm going to circle that, which means I'm done with my 6. But let me go over to the 10, and I know that 10 is made up of factors 2 times 5. Now 2 is prime, so I'm going to circle it, and 5 is prime, and I'm done. When I write this, remember I want to write from least to greatest, so I'll start with 2 times 2 times 3 times 5, and now I can actually write this using exponential notation because I have two 2's. So this will be 2 to the power of 2 times 3 times 5. Now, if we want to use the ladder method, we're going to end up with the exact same answer. We'll start over here, and we know that any number here has to be prime. So I cannot choose 6 or 10. I have to pick a prime number. So I'm going to pick 2 because 2 times 30 gives me 60. Because 30 is composite, I'm going to need to go a step further. But again, I can only pick a prime number for the outside right here. So I'm going to pick 2 again. And I know that 2 times 15 is 30. Now 15 is still composite, so I'm going to go further. And I know that 3 times 5 equals 15. Now if you notice, each one of my numbers here is prime, and as I said before, when this bottom number is prime, that's how I know I'm done. So I'm going to write it out just like I did before, 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. And again, I can use exponential notation, and my answer will be 2 to the power of 2 times 3 times 5. I'm going to let you go there because it's been a long video.